The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin' Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Bryan Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And here we are, back home in the SWBC Mortgage Studios here at the Star in Frisco. It's been great being out on the practice field, overlooking the practice field this week here on Talkin' Cowboys. For those of you who made the show the last couple of days, I had other commitments, but it's great to be here inside the studio now.
Yeah.
This is where we'll be throughout the season.
I was trying to remember, when's the last time we actually did the show here?
I guess during minicamp or around that time in the
minicamp, right?
Yeah,
it
was one of those times. It's been a couple of months.
It's been a while since we sat here.
That's right. And it's great to have you join us here for Talking Cowboys as we wrap up what has been a very busy week back at the Star in Frisco. We've had 3 open workouts for the fans this week. We'll have 2 more on Monday and Tuesday as training camp will continue. And I guess the big question right now as the Cowboys get set to play the Texans tomorrow night is, when will Zeke Elliott show up here? And will he be on the premises when the Cowboys resume workouts on Monday?
I don't know about Monday, but he definitely will be here, in my opinion, as it always has been, by time they resume workouts to get ready for the New York Football Giants.
So you're saying first week of the regular season?
I'm just saying he is going to be here in time to get paid.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Mickey on that. And, you know, I don't quite get if the fact that if you're hearing things, and the Zeke thing is one of those unfortunate holdouts where there's been so many things you kind of hear and then, oh, that's not true. Well, this is true. That's not true. You know, and it's that part of it. That's I see why people don't want to negotiate in the media with the way it is. You know, because we're always trying to speculate and, you know, who has real information, who doesn't have real information, and a lot of things get thrown out there. And I think that's where the trouble is. And I'm going to take a point that Mickey made, and I thought it was a really, really good point, that if you get the 2 right people to talk, you can generally get deals done. You don't need Bryan Broaddus talking or Bill Jones talking. You need the people involved. You need Ezekiel Elliott talking. You need Jerry Jones talking. You need Stephen Jones talking. Those are the people you really need talking, because that's the way things get done. It's not just the posturing and the this and that, you know, and it appears this group's feelings are hurt. Oh, wait a minute, this group is not too happy. See, you know, we're all speculating on what Jerry Jones is feeling like. We're all speculating on what Ezekiel Elliott's feeling like. Those are really the only 2 that matter, you know, and if they could find a way to get together, and the quicker that Ezekiel Elliott can come back into the fold and find a way to talk. I think that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones would have dealt with Ezekiel Elliott if he was here practicing. I think they would have. I think you could have handled this much like what they did with Jalen Smith's contract. You know, it could have been, okay, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? Well, let's talk about this. Instead, you know, you have to – I don't think Ezekiel had to go away to get Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones' attention. I think it would have been a simple walk into Jerry Jones' office and say, hey, boss, you got a minute? I want to talk to you about something. And it's disappointing that it's escalated and it got to this point, but Mickey's right. This kid is not going to miss game checks. I think he'll be back before this Giants game.
See, I heard somebody this morning suggest that, well, he might, and he had the whole – games wrong, but you can miss 10 games, play 6, and you get an accrued season,
right?
But your contracts next year are still there,
right?
So you're not a free agent, right? And then you can get franchised after that. So, but to miss 10 games is $2.4 million that you've got in your hand. Right? Mm-hmm. And he's not going to do that. Yeah. And if you pointed out, if you listen to Gary Brown, he said, oh, he'll be in. You know, that's all he said. He'll be in. Yeah. And somebody said, well, how much time does he need to get ready? He said, 2 weeks. Yeah. And so next week's 2 weeks.
We're right at it. Right. I mean,
and let me give you an example of how I think things out there get misconstrued. Some guy in the health club today, first of all, he didn't like our Hawaiian shirts. Yeah. That's how he starts the conversation with me, right? So he got off on the wrong foot.
Because you liked your Hawaiian shirt.
I did.
And you wore it like 3 days in a row, I think.
That's exactly right. Without washing it, too, by the way, Brad Sham.
Yeah, exactly.
And the guy goes, why'd they all have to be the same? Why didn't they have different colors? And I said, well, it's a marketing thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I
saw
go
one yesterday in the crowd, by the way.
I go in the steam room, and the guy shows up in there, and he goes, so Zeke's missing the whole year, right? Yeah. And I was like, no, he's not. He goes, well, that's what I'm hearing. I go, where'd you hear that? He goes, well, that's the talk out there. Right, and so that's what the perception
And you said you're
becomes.
as wrong about that as you were about my Hawaiian shirt.
Yes, I came close. I said, he'll be there. And he goes, oh, what makes you think he's going to be there? I haven't heard that. And I said, because he's not going to give up $224,000 a week. And the guy at the other end of the steam room goes, he's right about that, just like that. And this guy wanted to argue with me.
But I think it all goes back also to what Bryan is talking about. It's the relationship between the owner of this team and the player.
Right.
In fact, I saw something on Twitter this morning. When you started talking about that, Bryan, it reminded me of something I saw on Twitter from John Gordon. He was he's the author of The Energy Bus. He's a motivational speaker, whatever. He quoted, Andy Stanley saying, rules without relationship leads to rebellion. As a leader, you can have all the rules you want, but if you don't invest in your people and develop a relationship with them, they will rebel. This applies to children as well. It's all about relationships. But that's what this is about with Jerry Jones and this Cowboy organization and this player. There's been a relationship established, and he is not going to rebel.
And here's the other part of it. No one knows what the other side was asking for. You know, we hear what maybe the Cowboys were offering, but what were they asking for? Was it unrealistic to the point the Cowboys go, okay, we're just not going to deal with that if that's what you're asking for? And I think that's what you don't know. You don't know. They might have been asking for $17 million a year. You know, and that's out of line with what the other guys are getting paid.
Yeah, the Joneses do an incredible job of closing deals. It's obvious because Jerry Jones is a billionaire several times over, and it's not by accident. It's their ability to close deals, to have face-to-face meetings. You know, we live in an area here, and we've done this for a long time. All of us in this room have been with this team a long time, and we see it every single day. And it's just unfortunate that it got to the point where they went apart. They went apart, and that Jerry didn't have the opportunity. And maybe he'll get that opportunity in the coming days. Maybe if you listen to reports that maybe Ezekiel is on his way back home. And then, you know, if he could sit down with the Joneses, and they do a great job. They hammer out deals every day that are not always football related, but they do deals with big-time businessmen and women who understand when they look them in the eye that they're getting an honest assessment. And I think that's what we're missing right now. We're missing that sitting down and looking each other in the eye and say, listen, man, Jerry putting his hand on his knee like he did Tony Romo in that little room with Bill Parcells and telling him, you know, this is what we're going to do. And I think that's where we're missing this whole thing. And
the fact of the matter is with Zeke, he didn't have to be there throughout training camp. Yeah, you'd love for him to be there, but from where he is, as long as he's getting in shape, which we assume he is, he's fine as far as that. But my question to you, Bryan, is where – and so all these things kind of get deadline driven, okay?
Right.
And so Gary Brown talks about 2 weeks. You know, 2 weeks would be optimum getting back in here. People talk, if he's just here the week of the first game. What is the motivation for both sides, and especially the Cowboys side, to get this thing done now, to give him this week as well as next week to get ready?
Well, I think the motivation, and this is going to sound terrible the way I'm going to say it, but it's true because we're all not guaranteed. We lived something yesterday that we're not guaranteed tomorrow, right? We lived this yesterday. Jerry Jones is running out of campaigns. He is. The will to fight is strong. It's going to continue to be strong. He's going to do everything he can, but he realizes what they've built here. They realizes that this team, the roster, the ups, the downs, the things. He finally has this thing right where he's on. He's trying to help his head coach too. He really is. I mean, even though the head coach is in a situation where his contract is up too.
He wants him to succeed.
He wants him to succeed. Now, okay, that's the motivation. If you're thinking, I don't have many more of these campaigns left. If I'm going to do this, I've got to do it this way. And so that's why, to me, if they can get face-to-face, I think they can get something done. And he can explain his side of the story, like, listen, Zeke, okay, put everything aside, all the times. And, Jerry Jones was willing to take the commissioner down for Ezekiel Elliott. If you want to go back and really look at how things, Jerry Jones standing up there and saying, wait a minute, Roger Goodell, Article 46 or 48, whatever the article is about the wait, is he really working for us? All this really stemmed from some of the things that was happening with Ezekiel Elliott at the time. How disappointed he was that he was told, hey, this guy's not going to get suspended. And all of a sudden he's getting suspended 6 games. And he's like, wait a minute, you told me this. So I think that the relationship that they have, it makes Jerry Jones, because he sees what's ahead. He sees, like, listen, I've got a team that can compete with the Rams, that can compete with the Saints, can compete with the other teams, the top teams in the NFC, and hopefully get this thing to the Super Bowl. That's the motivation right there. That's his motivation to make this work.
All right, from just a practical sense of him, how much of the playbook was installed prior to the start of training camp, and how much now?
This will be fine. He'll be fine. Don't worry about Ezekiel. He's taken every rep. When Kellen Moore, when the installation was going through OTAs, it wasn't Jordan Chunn in there running plays. It was number 21. Blitz pickup's not going to be a problem for him. We know he can do that. The screen packages, the wheel routes, everything else that they want to run, and hand him the 37 and the 38, he's going to be just fine doing all that.
So if they do have more of a motivation, though, right now, it's more to just get it done and get the distraction out of the way and get Zeke reacclimated this week and not do that during
the team whole.
But the motivation is not to just give in and say, we'll give you what you want because we want you here. That's not going to be the motivation. Right. I guarantee you. There's going to be a compromise.
They've got to be close enough.
And here's the deal that everybody needs to remember, no matter what the extension is, say it's 4 years for whatever, right? He's still got 2 years on his contract. Those count.
Yeah.
So
just like with Jalen Smith.
Right. So if it's 4 years, it's 6 years, and you divide 6 years because he's owed $14 million this year and next year. So 7 a year would averages out to. So that's still going to count in that average.
But the agent can say that it was whatever the extension was.
He could say it's a 4-year, $100 million extension, right?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But that's not going to be the case. You got to add the $14 million to the total, and then another 2 years, and then do your division. Because if you look at Todd Gurley's extension, he had 2 more years left on his deal. So if you divide it all out, he had a 6-year, $71 million contract. So that comes to about $12.5 million a year.
Yeah, and no one reports that.
See, the thing about it is, and Bill, if you would, look up Todd Gurley's numbers, if you would.
That right now.
Because Todd Gurley's contract was signed after they had made the move to Los Angeles, right? The first year they had gone from St. Louis to Los Angeles, right, on the extension?
Yes.
Am I right about that? This is
their last year, wasn't it?
This was it 2 years ago? I thought
it would have been last year.
So they're in a situation where the Rams are trying to sell tickets. The Rams are talking about, let's take care of our own. The Cowboys look at that deal and say, well, that's a bad contract for us. I mean, we can't. That's why you keep hearing them say we can't compare these contracts. Jerry Jones saying, I've got to do what's best for the Dallas Cowboys. But you look at some teams in these contracts, if you want to base, the Gurley deal, the Rams were a team that they were trying to build. They were trying to go the right way. They had to sign their stars. They had to overpay to show people, hey, we're committed to doing this. Gurley is still one of the best players in the National Football League, regardless of his knee problems, in my opinion. But I think that there's, like I say, I understand what the Joneses are trying to say is we have to look at our situation first. We can't focus on the Rams. We can't focus on the Jets. We can't focus on the Steelers who tried to sign a running back. We can't focus that. We've got to look at our own situation and try and make this work to the best of what we can do to keep all our players so the roster is competitive, not just for this year, but for the next 2, 3, 4 years.
See, and the other thing you got to factor in, he loses 10% of his salary in California for state income tax. I know everybody says, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, 10% of all that money matters. The other thing is, if you look at the guarantees, it's a 4-year deal for $49 million.
Right.
So if you divide that out, it's $12.25 million a year. Would you sign Zeke for that? If that's the thing that he wants, I'd sign him to that yesterday.
Yeah.
If he would have taken it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want Todd Gurley. He wants, and he tweeted it out today, that if you're a top draft choice and you're going into your second contract, you should get a 15 to 20% raise of the top player at your position.
Okay, not to bore you with numbers, but Gurley, it was a 4-year, $57.5 million extension that he signed last year, July last year.
Yeah.
And he received $45 million in guarantees, $22 million of which is guaranteed at signing, including a $21 million signing bonus.
And there's $22.5 million in that is not guaranteed. So you can say what you – Le'Veon Bell's is the same way. The last 2 years of his 4-year deal are not guaranteed. So he's averaging $13.5 million a year. So are we splitting hairs between 12.5 and 13.5? Probably not. But what are they asking for? That's my point.
They get face-to-face, they'll get this thing done.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And nothing's changed.
Okay, remind me, because Douglas Barriclow asked me to ask you about a mustache story, and we're going to talk about
that next.
And we're going to talk more than just Zeke here when we come back here on Talking Cowboys.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus!
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Bryan Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Work the Cowboys way and channel the winning business tradition of the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family at Formation. This dynamic workspace provides an elevated work experience on the Star's aspirational campus with exclusive membership options available to meet varying needs. Choose from open workspaces, dedicated desks, and private offices to leverage our home field advantage for your individual business success. Limited memberships are available now, so apply today at formation@thestar.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
We are talking Cowboys on a Friday, getting you set for Cowboys and Texans Saturday night, 6 o'clock kickoff at AT&T Stadium. By the way, Deep Blue, which you can see elsewhere on DallasCowboys.com, featuring Daryl Moose Johnston this week. I've watched the first 5 or 10 minutes of it. I'm going to watch the rest of it today, and you can see it on the Cowboys Network. Local, it will be at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon on CBS 11 and all across the Cowboys Network. And countdown to kickoff is at 5 o'clock, featuring Mickey and Lindsey Draper. And the game starts at 6. Bryan Broaddus will be in the radio booth with Brad Sham, and Daryl Johnston will be with me calling the game on television, and it should be interesting because the Texans have been resting some starters like J.J. Watt in the preseason. I wouldn't expect he'd be playing in this game, but Deshaun Watson did play last week for the Texans, and so it'll be interesting to see what we get out of tomorrow night's game. It'll be our last chance to see the regulars before we kick things off for real against the Giants here. And Mickey,
you don't think Dak's playing in that fourth game?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on that limb. Mickey,
right.
Tell me the mustache story.
So I thought of this when it all came up that, you got sources telling you Zeke's got booked a ticket coming back to Dallas soon, right? So 1990, the Cowboys were in a contract dispute with Jesse Solomon.
Who came over in the Herschel Walker trade.
Exactly. And they had a nice 89 season. Mm-hmm. They liked him. They wanted to re-sign him. And he held out at training camp, and we're in San Diego. The Cowboys went there to practice for a week against the Chargers since they didn't go to Thousand Oaks. Anyway, I had Jesse on the phone, right? And I said, so when you coming in? He goes, tomorrow. I go, are you sure? He goes, I got the ticket in my hand right now. I've already booked the ticket. I will be there tomorrow, right? So we got in an argument about when he was going to show up, and I said, he's going to be here tomorrow, right?
Imagine that. Mickey got in an argument.
And so we went back and forth, and I said, I'll bet my mustache that he shows up here tomorrow, right? Well, Jesse Solomon changed his mind. And it was such a well-known argument that it was like, okay, the mustache has got to go. And so
Man
on
of his word.
Sunday night, Dale Hansen Sports Special,
really,
they lathered me up, and then they went to do
Jack
the rest
Black,
of it.
Right?
Yeah. And when they came back, I came back on the air, and I didn't have my mustache. And I have not grown it back in 30
So that's the last
years.
time you had a mustache?
Yes.
Haven't been able to grow one since.
Yeah.
It's funny, though. I'll say this, and I know we're referring to people saying coming and going on Zeke. The guy that put that out, Kevin Turner, who we do work with on 105.3, he had him going to Cabo the first time.
Yeah.
So he's got somebody that's telling him at least travel plans. It might not be contract plans, but somebody is telling him guys are coming and going. Again, I just can't reiterate enough, and I'm sorry if I did it again, but get the two guys in the room. Get the boss in the room. Get the elite running back in the room. Hammer this thing out. They can do that. I think once they look at each other in the face and kind of say, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. This is where you're at. Let's kind of work this thing out. And it's with the Joneses, their best work is when they're able to sit down with you and talk to you face to face. I've seen them do it 1,000 times.
And and then when this thing does get completed, and then there's going to be, well, who won? Well, both sides win because the Cowboys get their guy back. He gets, let's say, it's a $20 million signing bonus, right? He gets his $20 million 2 years before he needed to get it, right? So that's a win right there, no matter what the total is, because he was going to make $3.8 million this year, $9 million next year with the fifth-year option. He's going to get $20 million in his hands right now, or whatever the signing bonus is, and that's what at Gurley's was $21 million.
Right.
So that's a win. However you want to look at the total, getting that money now is a victory because he didn't have to get it.
Brian, you have Periscope going?
I do, but we don't have really any good questions. Everybody's kind of just fumbling around right now. So if you got any questions,
kind of like the host of the show.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I know, but it's like I say. Hopefully, like Bill says, fire some questions at me. I just asked for some questions on Periscope. If you do have something you want to talk about, Zeke, the game, how long the starters are going to play, whatever you want to know about, we'll try and dive into that. But right now we're kind of fumbling around.
What do you think they need to see out of the starters this week?
You know what? I think that with the way the team is still banged up, it's not really a dress rehearsal game. It's more like let's survive a third game. You'd like to see maybe Dak Prescott. The last two times out, has moved the team smartly down the field. Bang, bang, bang. Should have had a field goal,
drive and a touchdown.
Yeah, should have had a touchdown. The ball wasn't tipped. But yeah, I maybe another series added to that. Maybe 2 series. 12 plays, depending on how things go. Somewhere between 15 and 20 plays, I think would be good. As long as the offensive line can hold up well, and don't put too much duress on him. Need to see Pollard and we were talking about this yesterday on the show, Bill. I was one of those guys that believed that, coaches go back to the players they have familiarity with. And so I've always long believed that if Zeke did not show up, that Alfred Morris would be the starter. I'm having reservations on that. I do feel like that they'll go with the rookie, that they'll go with Tony Pollard. So I'd like to see Tony Pollard run a little bit more, maybe a couple of series, maybe continue to throw him the football, maybe allow him to pick up a guy, a blitzer or two. Again, it's a 3-4 defense they're playing against. I think 4 out of the first 5 games they play this year against 3-4 defenses. So it might be a good opportunity for Tony to step up and do what he needs to do. I think who is the team that does not play the 4-3? The
Saints.
The Saints. That's the only team that would not play the 4-3. So, or excuse me, the 3-4. So it's good if he can work on outside linebacker pickup, twist games, whatever he needs to do. I'm all for that right now.
What do you think? Let's assume for a moment that Zeke is coming back, and then Pollard's on the team, obviously. What's the position battle there for the next spot at running back?
I think it's Chun. Mickey said this all along, and I think there's some value there with Chun playing all the special teams. You know, they've got to think about this. This is funny to say, but they've got a lot of players on this that are going to be on that 46-man roster that don't play special teams. If you think about the linebackers and the Sean Lees and the Jalen Smiths and guys like that, they're going to have a lot of guys that don't play. So they're going to need to find some guys. If a guy like Chun say,
so that works against Alfred Morris.
I think that works against Alfred Morris in that regard. Absolutely. Mickey pointed out yesterday it was a small signing bonus, $90-something thousand that they can easily stomach and then move on if they have to. But Chun to me is a better Rod Smith, a guy that he catches the ball well, runs the ball well, he's tough, he's big, he's physical. He's all those things that you wanted Rod Smith to be.
He's a more experienced running back than Rod Smith was.
No, that's true. Yeah.
At least he at least started his entire senior year at Troy, and I don't need to remind Brian that he gained 191 yards.
Oh no!
Against
every time I watch him run, I see that guy that's just blowing.
Plus, he found the end zone time and time again.
That Troy team. Congratulations! They did a heck of a job coming to Baton Rouge, and not only did they get a big game check, they got a win. So congratulations to them. Here we go. Periscope's
and the other thing with Chun is this last game he had 2 special teams tackles, and he blew up another play. He didn't get credit for it, but he blew it up. So he gives you another dimension, a little bigger running back, maybe. Sort of in Zeke's mode, not as talented, obviously, but Pollard's going to get a little bit more, I think, than everybody thinks he is. I mean, carrying the football.
Yes.
This is not like when he goes in the game and it's like, okay, here comes the toy. Because they can hand it to him. It's not like last year.
I think he's the starter if there's no Elliott.
Yeah, when everybody thought, they can line up Tavon in the backfield, right? Well, they did, but they never handed him the ball. This guy they can hand it to.
Okay, take away Joseph Randle's issues. From a sheer talent standpoint, how would you compare Pollard and Joseph Randle?
I think Pollard's more complete. I think Pollard, Joseph Randle even had his problems with blitz pickup. I don't think he's near the catcher. Now, you talk about running styles. I feel like that Pollard's a little bit quicker to and through the hole. I felt like that Randle was maybe a little bit better finisher. Because I thought he was a little bit bigger guy.
Pure speed too, maybe.
Yeah, so more straight line. I think that when you watch Pollard play, he's got wiggle to him. You see him put the foot in the ground and then be able to make cuts and move. And I thought that Joseph Randle was more of a take the ball, one cut, and then boom, he was into the secondary.
I thought they were hoping they had that guy who would be not only the backup but could do all things with Randle, and he just didn't have it. From the mental standpoint and so forth, the issues that he had.
Yeah, you can't get past the knucklehead part of it.
Exactly. So you would love to have a guy who can be your number 2 guy and maybe not do it at a Pro Bowl level like Zeke can, but can do all the things.
This is where I think that Kellen Moore is going to be really creative. If the fact that when you get Elliott and Pollard both in the backfield at the same time, because you have one guy that can really blitz pick up, one guy that can really catch. And so now you get all these combinations that you can do, like, okay, I'll protect myself with a back, mindful maybe a $14 million year back, and then throw it to a rookie who can make things happen. If you watch the Senior Bowl game, he takes the screen in that game and takes it all the way to the house. So he's very capable of scoring from anywhere on the field, as is Ezekiel Elliott.
His receiving background in college is a great advantage for him.
Absolutely.
And that's what's against Alfred Morris right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And look at how much they've been using the fullback to throw the ball.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
The fullback's been throwing the ball.
To throw it to him. You know what I meant?
Oh, yes. It reminds me of Robert Newhouse with a halfback pass or a fullback pass in the Super Bowl. All right, we continue with more Talking Cowboys in just a moment.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper Soft Coolers at OtterBox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine a surging river of ice-cold Dr. Pepper, roaring with carbonated mists of desire. You're dangling above it, upside down, like a fishing lure in the wind. 23 flavors tickle your nose, but the river is too far away to taste. Dr. Pepper calls to you. You.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
No, you have to use the Jack Black code PICK5. This is PICK5 for the road week. You get 5 deluxe size travel-friendly samples with your $65 purchase, and you needed to do it by August 27th, next Tuesday. That's when this special runs out, so go to getjackblack.com.
And a reminder, the Cowboys have open practices as training camp continues for 2 more days, Monday and Tuesday, as the Cowboys, those are the 2 workouts the Cowboys have prior to the final preseason game against Tampa Bay next Thursday. It's Cowboys and Texans tomorrow night, 6 o'clock kickoff. And on Periscope, what do we have, Brian?
Guys want to know out there, what offensive line do you see starting in the Houston game, Mickey?
Lale Collins at right tackle, Xavier Suafilo at right guard, Travis Frederick at center, Connor Williams at left guard, and Cameron Fleming at left tackle.
He's nailed that.
And no concerns about Tyron Smith.
No, I think he kind of showed he's kind of working his way back,
Sure.
and there's no need to put undue stress on a Pro Bowl back.
And Zach Martin, the plan all along since he left practice several weeks ago.
Be ready to get into
for the
practice for the Giants game.
Absolutely. If Justin Phillips has another good game, does he make the roster? Has he shown enough to make the roster?
He showed a lot last week against the Rams.
Depends how many linebackers they keep.
All right, let me ask
because
you
we've
this.
already talked about how it looked like they were going to keep Luke Gifford. Now, they can always change their mind because they know they're going to probably have to carry him for a couple weeks, that he can't play till he gets over the high ankle sprain. But if you look at the backups, you're looking at Joe Thomas, and then
you got
March,
Justin March Little.
March, Justin
but
March,
is
right?
But is he there?
Yeah,
Can this kid knock him off?
That's what I'm saying. That's true. All right, let me ask you this. this could sound funny. Maybe it's not really a crystal ball thing, but if you could carry, you have a choice. You can carry Devin Smith or Justin Phillips. You get to only carry one of those guys. Devin Smith or Justin Phillips.
No, I'm taking Devin Smith.
So Mickey's carrying the sixth receiver.
Yeah.
I am taking Devin Smith, and I feel confident I can get Justin Phillips to my practice squad.
Okay.
One of the reasons I think I can get Justin Phillips to the practice squad. Now, if he balls out again, who knows? But he was available to everybody this offseason.
Sure, but now there's tape.
Cowboys,
now there's tape.
That's the point now.
Yeah.
Now people have seen him in preseason games.
Yeah, they see like 6 tackles and an interception.
Exactly.
And
so
stuff
there's the difference on him. But I still feel like I can get him to the practice squad right now.
Let me ask you this.
Ask me again after tomorrow night.
See, the thing about it is I kind of think I might go because okay, let me ask you this. Let me change the guy then. Is Cedric Wilson your 5th guy or 6th guy? Because if Devin Smith's your 5th guy, then I need to change it to say Cedric Wilson or Justin Phillips. Would that change your mind if I said those 2 guys?
I would like to see Justin Phillips play against the big boys.
Okay.
Before I make that decision. Maybe he gets the opportunity
to
this
start
Saturday and he plays a lot.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of Justin Phillips out there. Now, I think it's Justin Phillips or Luke Gifford.
Okay. And that they would probably go Luke Gifford there, I think, from everybody I'm talking to.
Well, and even if Luke Gifford, with his injury, I mean, you need to carry – if you're planning on playing him this year or have a chance to play him this year, he's got to be on your 53 at cutdown day, and then you can put him on an IRR after that if you want. But so it kind of depends on what the prognosis is on him.
And then what
he's
happens with Chris Covington? Is he out?
Well, yeah, what's up with Covington?
See, Covington practiced yesterday. He was on the field, so he's going to play. My guess is he was on the field practicing when they were doing cards.
How many linebackers do they need to have on their 53? Considering special teams is a huge part of that.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's that situation where you're looking at it and you're thinking, is that the deepest position, and is that the position you don't want to cut somebody from? Because all those guys that we just talked about could play. Now, you guys thought the wide receivers were better than the linebackers, which to me, I'm kind of thinking, okay, chances of getting John Vay Johnson to the practice squad.
I think good.
Good. Okay. Chances of getting Jalen Guyton to the practice squad. Good. Okay. Chances of getting Davis to the practice squad. Reggie Davis.
Good.
Okay. So now I'm thinking I've got guys I'm feeling good about, but
that are still going to be on the team.
That are still going to be on the team. So if I lose Devin Smith, I'm maybe not feeling terrible about that, but I would feel bad if all of a sudden Justin Phillips plays well and I'm thinking, geez, I just put a damn linebacker out there for somebody to grab, and I got this wide receiver on my 53, but I got 3 other practice squad guys that I was, you know what I'm saying?
So let me throw another wide receiver into the mix, Noah Brown.
I think Noah Brown, Mickey said this all along, and Mickey was the first one to say this, and I think he's going to be right about this.
He's on the team.
No,
he's
I think
on
PUP.
That's right.
They're going to keep him on PUP.
That's
so
right.
for 6 weeks, he's like that safety blanket that they could go back to.
Definitely.
If they
he doesn't factor in.
Yeah.
See,
that's why I think I would if I don't feel great about the 6th receiver, that I might go 5, and then maybe I'm not carrying an extra linebacker. Maybe I'm carrying an extra defensive lineman. Maybe I'm carrying Kerry Hyder, or somebody like that.
See, the point on Noah Brown, he's on your taxi squad, basically.
Right.
Okay. And so that just has increased depth at your wide receiver position there.
Right. Right.
And so I think, like with either a Cedric Wilson or with Devin Smith, how does he factor into actually playing this year?
Devin Smith?
Yeah. I mean,
they're starting to use Cedric Wilson and Devin Smith are getting reps with special team. They're starting to see him as flyer blockers. You're starting to see him kickoff return, punt return. You're starting to see them get more opportunities to be, okay, if you make this team, as Bill Parcells would say, as I take you to the game, what else are we going to get from you?
Well, and the assumption here is that Tavon Austin's making the team.
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
Because if they have confidence in these other guys, and they've been using Pollard as a kickoff return guy.
Yeah.
By the way.
So they know what they have in Tavon Austin. It's not like Tavon Austin needs to show them anymore.
Yeah, they know
right now.
They know what they got.
Yeah, no. People are asking you, Mickey, the same question. They're saying, okay, they're going, Broaddus, why is Tavon Austin safe? You know, that's the question they're asking right now.
Well, I should have been on Periscope.
You know what? I feel like though watching him play, that it's kind of like Pollard's got some plays. And I really think that Kellen Moore's got some things brewing with Tavon with the quick stuff, but those deep crossing routes where they move the pocket and the ball goes flying all the way across the field, and he's like running past people because he's short and he's kind of people.
Remember how excited Linehan was when they made the trade for Tavon Austin?
Well, Jerry basically said you better do something with him,
and they were until he got hurt.
But you would think that any play caller is going to be excited about.
Okay,
Tavon
so
Austin.
Here's the deal. Gallup or Cooper are injured. Who's your backup on the outside? Because right now, I think it's Randle Cobb.
It's Cobb, and you don't really want to go that route, but you'd have to, if you put Cobb on the outside, then that means you have to, who's going to play your slot, and that's where Tavon Austin comes in. That's where it is to me.
Right. But if you need another true outside receiver, one of those guys would be it, I would think, although they've been using Wilson in the slot, too.
5 corners, 5 safeties? I'm asking? Or 6 and 4? I've been 6 and 4 all along.
What's going to happen with Byron Jones?
See, that's what I'm saying, though.
They'll carry him.
Yeah.
He's on the team.
He's on the team for sure.
He's close enough.
He's close enough, so he's not a pup candidate.
But can you get by with the 5 corners then if you I mean, okay, he's on the team. Can you get by with the 4 you got? You know, can you get by with the 4 corners? And so far, I think you've seen you can. I feel like I look at Anthony Awuzie, Brown, Lewis. Who's my 4th guy? Because I don't think Mike Jackson's on this team.
No,
right now,
if Byron Jones is on there, then you've got your 2 starters and those 2 as your backups.
Well, who's your 4th guy?
Well,
Jones.
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis. Okay, who's your 5th
Who's
guy?
the 5th? Guy? I don't know. Is Mike Jackson going to make this?
See, that's why I don't think Mike Jackson. Because see, I mean, I'm thinking about
Lumba.
See, Goodwin is their special teams ace.
Don't you think when Jason was asked the other day about Lumba, it was kind of a lukewarm?
You know what? I think it was one of those You know what coaches do? Don't talk good about a guy,
right?
Because when
people
they cut
are listening.
People are listening. People are like, nah, he's not.
Okay, from a special team standpoint, then which of these safeties? Do you keeping a 5th safety? How does that help you special teams wise over keeping the corner, the extra corner, whatever?
Say again. I was looking down.
Fifth safety.
5th safety. You said 5 safety, 5 corners.
Yeah.
Do you go that route? What's the special teams advantage there?
See, Donovan Wilson, I think, would be the 5th safety unless he can knock Kayvon Frazier out of the mix. That's what I was kind of thinking. Good, but if they said, you know what, we don't want to lose Kayvon Frazier, but we have to keep Wilson has shown us enough, then they might go 5 and 5.
So who are your safeties then? You got Heath and Woods, you got Donovan Wilson, you got Kayvon Frazier,
right,
and
Thompson.
Yeah. So Iloka's out.
I think he is.
I've seen nothing to suggest not.
Yeah.
But wait a second. I thought when they signed him, he was going to be the starting safety.
Don't get me started again.
Don't get started.
I told you about following the money, right?
Okay. We are up against the clock.
That's
it. Looks like it looks that way.
Well, you'll hear from all of us tomorrow.
That's
at some
exactly
point.
Right. It will be a work day tomorrow.
That was a fast 45 minutes.
It was, and we'll continue on Monday here on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?